Hi everyone, Mr. Oliver here from the James Prendergast Library. We're coming back to you guys with another STEAM concept video through our makerspace. And so today we're going to talk about Cubelets. Now Cubelets is another robotics program, but it's both easier and harder than some of the other robots that we've done stuff with for you guys. So unlike Dash, Dot, Clue, Botley, or any of the other ones, these robots you actually have to build yourself, which is what makes it harder. It actually makes it a lot more interesting as well. But when you have to put it together yourself, that's always a little bit more difficult. But it's also easier because with this, what they call this Cubelets catalog, and this is what was the objects, the cubes that were in this particular box, they break down what each individual piece does. So, for example, I know that this blue cube here matches this blue cube on the picture here, and it's a battery. And that this clearish cube is this one down here, which is a flashlight. So it'll make light. So with that, you can start to look and think about a problem that you have, what you want to do, and then from there, solve the problem. So, and this fits into some of those next-gen science standards, not siren standards. And it's usually at the high school level, and it talks about designing a solution to a complex real-world problem by breaking it down into smaller, more manageable problems that can be solved through engineering. And if you guys remember the last time that I talked about robotics, I talked about how robotics and engineering are very similar in how robots come out of engineering problems. And when we talk about breaking it down into smaller pieces, well, this is my battery piece, this is my power problem, this is my light piece, this is my light problem, and then this is a sensor block, this is my sensor problem. So, I'm going to put these together real quick and show you what we can make with a battery, a sensor, and this is specifically a solar sensor, so it detects light, and then a light emitter, a flashlight. So, and of course, want to make sure your power is off, like I told you guys before. Anytime you're using power, you want to make sure their power's off. And what's really cool about these is that they are connected through magnets, so they just snap together. So, power is going to come from the battery through our light sensor and then into our light emitter. So, I'm going to turn the power on, and if you look at my hand, you can see that the light's on. Now what happens if I cover up the light sensor so it can't tell if light's coming out? Well, depending on how much light I block out, the light goes away. And I'm actually going to pull out another piece here because as I'm thinking about it, the problem I have with a flashlight is not usually, well, it's bright outside and I need more light. Usually it's dark outside, so I need more light. And so what I need is something to change that, to reverse it. Or, in this case, inverse. So this red block takes whatever information is given to it and does the opposite. So, got my power off, and I'm going to put it in between the sensor and the light. Because the sensor, before this was in there, says, I see light, so I turn the power on. Now, if I've done this correctly, it should say, I don't see, or I see light, so I do nothing. I don't see light, so I turn the power on. So, Lights on. No light coming through the flashlight. I cover it, and the light comes back on. So that's how you got it when you're... So that's how these Cubelets work, is that you present a problem, you think of an idea, and you think about, how would I solve that? So, I've got another one already built up here. Battery pack. This is called a knob. It is a control knob, and what it does is it controls the amount of power that goes from this battery block into everything else. And it's got wheels, and just because anytime you're messing with speed, you want to be able to see how much is going in there. So I'm going to turn the battery block on, and if we watch the top here, I'm going to hold it up so the wheels aren't on the ground. As I start turning the knob, there starts to be more power. And because this is connected to the wheels, as I set it down here, the more power that goes into it, the faster it'll go. I'm going to pick it up before I turn it all the way, so listen to the sound the wheels are making. And now I'm going to turn it up all the way. It's really fast, isn't it? So, I'm going to turn that down, and I'm going to turn this off. I'm going to show you one more block here. That's really cool. So, I don't know if you guys have seen a lot of cars commercials these days, but one of the things they talk about is collision warning. And so what they're talking about is something gets closer to the car, they want to alert people. And one of the other options is, what if a person's not driving it? What if it's a robot or AI, or it's automated in somehow? Well, you would want to have a sensor there that when something gets close to it, it moves away. So, as you can see, I have battery turn on. I set it down. There is power going to there, but there's not enough of a issue for it to move. And as I get my hand closer to it, the faster it'll go. And as I move my hand away, actually I'll lift this up. As you see, the closer my hand gets to it, the more that battery sensor lights up. So this is an example of some of the things that are going on in the world today in robotics and programming. They have very complex questions that can be broken down into very simple parts and processes, and they're solving those individually to answer this huge question. So the question is, how do I get something from point A to point B? Well, I need wheels, I need power, and I need it to move. But also, I need to make sure it doesn't hit anything else. So, wheels provide movement, battery to provide power, this power graph to show how much power that's going into it, and then this sensor to prevent accidents. So all of these little pieces that come together to answer a single question. All right, guys, till next time, have a good day.